What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Inspire Create Manifest podcast. I'm your host, Joe Longo, and if you are watching, we've got some life in the studio. Big Lou is out here trying to come back to life, and we got a little ZZ plant up there. As it gets warmer, there'll be more plants coming into the studio. And Lou, this is Big Lou's last leg. We're trying to regrow him. So I completely chopped Big Lou. He's now sitting in water to grow roots up here, and down on the floor where you can't see is the stumps from Big Lou. Because the neat thing about the Monstera is you can completely chop it right at the stump, and guess what happens? It keeps growing. So we're going to see what kind of big leaves grow from, I think this is the third time Big Lou has been completely cut and grown back. So we're excited to see what happens with that. I'm excited to have some plant life out here in the studio. And today we're talking about studies, all kinds of research studies that point back to our mindset and how, whether you like it or not, your mindset has so much to do with our reality and everything that we're creating. So earlier this week, I put an Instagram reel out about Dr. Richard Weissman and his newspaper study. And as I was sitting with that and getting the feedback, and some of it was great, some of it was really pushing back in the space of, oh, it's just that easy to be lucky and unlucky. And if life was so grand that we just had to worry about luck. And that's part of it, right? That mindset of, oh, if life was so easy, we can just think about it as luck or unluck. But it's all our mindset. And that mindset is a perfect example. So I started exploring some other studies. And I remembered one from a couple of years ago from psychologist Elaine Langer. She created the counterclockwise experiment. And so I was doing a little bit of research, and I asked my assistant to pull another study that was done. And the third study it gave me was the Milkshake study by Alon Crum. And this is really interesting. We're going to start with this study and work our way back through all three. And I really want us to be in an open space hear to hear the different aspects of these three studies and how it's all come down to our mind and what we believe. So let's jump into the milkshake study. We all love milkshakes, don't we? Well, researcher Alana Crum gave people the same milkshake on different occasions, same exact milkshake. But one time it was labeled indulgent, rich, high calorie. Another time it was labeled sensible, light, healthy. Guess what? The body responded differently based on what people believed they were consuming. Different levels of satisfaction, different hormonal responses. Think about that. Their body changed. It felt more satisfied if they thought the milkshake was richer and fuller and not a healthy kind of milkshake. They felt more cravings when they thought that it was a sensible, lighter milkshake. It was just what they were being told. Their body believed this. Our body responds not only to the shake, but to the meaning of the shake. So our mind just isn't reacting to life. It is literally participating in life. So let's go back to the counterclockwise experiment by Elaine Langer. This experiment, she created an environment designed to feel like it was decades earlier, and she brought a group of men there. The house had music, magazines, newspapers, and conversation topics from their younger years. They were encouraged to speak and engage as if they were living in earlier times. After spending time there, many of the participants showed improvement in posture, memory, movement, energy, and overall vitality. Now, whether every detail of the study gets extravagated over time is not really the point. The point is that when people stop identifying as old, as fragile, as declining, as something is changing, environment matters. Identity matters. The story you live matters. What is the story that you're telling yourself? Oh, my back, I'm so old. And you're 30 years old? I can't even imagine what your back is going to feel like when you're 60. What if we flipped the mindset like this counterclockwise experiment? What if we started talking younger, feeling younger, acting younger? Have you all noticed the photos of high school kids in the 60s and the 70s? They look like grown freaking men and women. And now we look at high school photos of kids from today, and they look like they're so young, because they are, because our perception has changed. Back then, life was so much harder. They were literally working in the coal mines, doing hard work. They'd lived hard lives. They looked at, when they were 19 years old, that they were grown men already, because they were. They changed mindset. The way that their environment was literally changed. Now look at us. We look like babies. And if I can feel like a baby and said, look like a baby, guess what? I'm going to start looking and feeling younger. Not because I'm taking anything, literally my mindset, because it controls all of this. And now let's jump into the lucky and unlucky study from Richard Weissman. He studied people who considered themselves lucky and unlucky. And in one experiment, he gave participants a newspaper and he asked them to count the photographs. Inside the paper was a large message that said something like, hey, stop counting. There are 47 photographs. And the lucky people were far more likely to notice the message. None of the unlucky people noticed the message. At the end of the newspaper, there was another ad that said, bonus. Tell your proctor that you saw the bonus and we'll double your money. Lucky people saw the bonus. Unlucky people did not see the bonus. Now, what does this mean? Unlucky people often missed it because they were tense. They were narrowly focused and locked into the task. They were so focused on counting the numbers, they missed the prize that was right in front of their face because they were focused on they were narrowly focused. I'm not sure how you say that, but you get what I'm trying to say. They were just focused on that one thing and not able to see the big picture. That's huge. Many people think life forgot them. And sometimes life is putting opportunities right in front of you. But stress and fear and resentment and tunnel vision makes it impossible to see these opportunities that are right there, waiting for you. We have tunnel vision. They did this, they did that. Nothing ever goes my way. There must be a black cloud that's covering my family. And every other story that we carry with us. That becomes the reality that we're living. You're going to prove it to yourself every day. So when Silly Joe says, hey, what if we start being grateful for what we have, and you push back, explore the pushback. Explore why you're defending that limitation. Explore why you want to say, yeah, but you don't know what it's like to be me. No shit. Nobody does. We're all on our own journey. We have to explore, but realize that if it's a milkshake, if it's lucky or unlucky, if it's acting like you're younger, your mindset is creating your reality. And this starts showing up in every day, in every way. If you believe people are always rejecting you, you are going to notice the rejection all around you. If you believe there are no opportunities, you're going to overlook the opportunities that are right in front of your face. If you believe you're getting too old, your energy is going to slow down and it's going to follow that script and you're going to feel more aches and pains. If you believe change is possible, you'll begin looking at life differently. You'll move through life differently. You will speak differently. And this is where awareness matters. Because once you see the script, you can finally start to rewrite it. But you have to have that awareness of seeing the script, of saying, oh man, here's the thing. I've literally been speaking into existence everything that I don't want. Now I see it. So here's a practice for us this week. Ask yourself, what story am I rehearsing right now? What story am I rehearsing right now? What identity am I protecting that no longer serves me? What identity am I protecting that no longer serves me? And one last one. Where am I so focused on the problem that I cannot see the opportunity sitting right in front of me? Where am I so focused on the problem that I can't see the opportunity sitting right in front of me? That's a deep homework assignment for us, my friends. And one more. What would change if I chose a new lens today? What would change if I chose a new lens today? What lens do I want to look at the outside world with? One of hope, one of optimism, or one of doom and gloom? Everything is so hard and I'm so unlucky. Your mind is powerful, and not because it can magically control the universe, but it can magically control your mind. How about that? Your mind is powerful not because it can control the universe, but it can control your mind. So use it. Use it. If you need a little bit of help, reach out. Schedule that clarity call. If anything I said sat with you in a wonderful way, I invite you to share this with your friends. I appreciate you all, and we'll be back here on Thursday. Have a wonderful week. Do your homework, my friends. I'll see you soon.